Hello everyone! In this section, we are going to look at several examples and get acquainted with PyTorch dynamic graphs. To achieve it, we need to cover the following. Talk about first feed-forward networks, recurrent neural networks, and then talk a little more about structure and ways to train dynamic graphs. So, let's start. The best thing is just to code the feed-forward network by ourselves. So, let's do it. I want to show you a simple IPython notebook with some code, first for feed-forward neural network, and then with some code for recurrent neural network. Also, I would refer many times to very cool tutorials here. You can find them by the link. And they're really cool. So if you want to look at some more advanced stuff, you definitely need to check it. Okay, so let's start with feed-forward network. First, of course, we need to import all the stuff like Torch, Torch Vision, and everything else. Then we need to clarify which one we want to use, GPU, CPU. So if we have GPU, we'll definitely use it, and we can check it using this statement. Torch CUDA is available. Okay, pretty clear. Next, before we are going to write a class for our feed-forward network or train it or test it, we need to download data with which we are going to work. Here I suggest you to use a simple MNIST dataset, and you can download it using TorchVision library by simply typing torchvision.datasets.mnist. Okay, here at root you can just specify the place where the data is stored on your laptop. Also, you need to clarify which part of the dataset you are using, train part or test part, and what else. Also, you can specify this one, the parameter called download. What else? Also, you need to use data loader. You can use it by simply typing torch.utils.data.dataloader, and here you need to give your train dataset variable and test dataset variable, and here you should specify batch size. You can just type and memorize this constant, for example, here. I suggest you to use batch size 100, but it is totally up to your choice. These two lines of code are needed for Torch to divide your data into several batches for training. Okay, sounds like we have downloaded data, split it into batches, and even worked with constants. Okay, now we have to write a class for fully connected neural network and then train it. Okay, we will write a very simple neural network with just one hidden layer. And this means that we will have just one non-linearity. And let's use ReLU, for example. And we will have two fully connected layers. This one. We can build it using nn.linear and this one. And we will name them simply FC1 and FC2. Also, you need to specify the input size for each layer and the output size for it. It's pretty obvious that input size for the first fully connected layer is equal to this one input size, and the input size for the second fully connected layer is equal to hidden size, and the output size for it is equal to number of classes, which is 10 in our MNIST dataset. Okay, also we need to write forward pass function, which is pretty obvious. So first we should write this one, fc1 Then we have nonlinearity, and then we have another fully connected layer that we have named FC2. Okay, and then we're returning the result of all these operations. Cool. Sounds pretty obvious. Now we should train our model. So what do we do here? Of course, we have to initialize the model. Okay, and specify which device we want to use. Then we have to choose the criterion. Here we will use cross entropy for just simplicity, and the optimizer, and here we will use Adam. Okay, here we specify the learning rate. It was written here. Okay, you can just write your own favorite learning rate. Then we start to train the model. We have several epochs for it, and for each one we just do the following. We are taking our images, reshaping them, working with labels for them. We are transmitting the labels to the device, and then we do the forward pass and count the loss for it, and then we do the backward pass. Of course, we do not forget about zeroing the gradients. And then we do backwards and one step for our optimizer. Okay, great. And after this step, we just have to test our model and count how many correct images do we have and how many total images do we have. And by this, we can just calculate the accuracy for our model, simply dividing correct images by total images for our neural network. Okay, sounds pretty cool. And here you have just a simple homework. You have to write the same code and just test your neural network and see which accuracy you can get from it. Don't forget that this neural network is pretty simple and it wouldn't give you very great accuracy. After all these manipulations, don't forget to save your model to the disk so that you wouldn't have to wait too much while training the same neural network once and once again. You can save the model to the disk by just typing torch.save. And here you should specify the name of the file where you want to store the checkpoint. Okay, so let's go through all the steps once again. First, we should download the data using Torch Vision and the torch.utils.data. Okay. Then we should write the init function and forward pass functions for our neural network. Then we have to train our model, choosing the criterion and optimizer, and then we can test it and count, for example, accuracy for it. And then we are saving it to the disk. Great, I think we are good with feed-forward neural network. And now we can move on to a little more advanced stuff. Now we are going to write recurrent neural network, but the pipeline will be completely the same. We have already downloaded the data, the NIST dataset. Now we have to just work a little bit with our constants and write another class for our recurrent neural network with another forward pass and another initialization function. So for recurrent neural network, we have several parameters: the hidden size for it, number of layers. Also here we are going to use LSTM, and for it we wouldn't write it by ourselves, we will just use it from Torch library. Here in LSTM we should specify the input size, the hidden size, the number of layers, and the variable called batch first. Here we should specify that it is true. Okay, and then at the end we will have a fully connected layer with the input size like hidden size of our previous layer and the output size equal to number of classes. So the number of classes will be 10. Okay. Forward pass is pretty simple too. So we have to forward propagate LSTM. We can do it just typing self.lstm and giving it our input x and two vectors h0 and c0. These vectors we specified here. Both of them are just vectors with zeros, but we have to specify the sizes for them by just typing this one. Okay, and the output for our forward propagation for LSTM will be a tensor of shape, batch size, sequence length, and hidden size. And then we just decode the hidden state of the last time step by using fully connected layer to the previous LSTM layer and returning the results. Great. Then we should train our recurrent neural network and test it. But the steps are pretty the same as it was while we were training fully connected neural network. Here we are choosing cross-entropy loss are the same, and we are choosing Adam as our optimizer. Here we should do forward pass, backward pass, and don't forget to zero our gradients. Testing the model is pretty the same, and we should count the accuracy for our model at the end of this step. Okay, so here you have the same homework. You should write the code for this neural network and count which accuracy it will give you. It is quite obvious that recurrent neural network should give you much better quality than a simple feed-forward, but you should test it by yourself and prove it that recurrent neural network is working better. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this video. We've covered two neural networks, simple feed-forward and simple recurrent neural network with LSTM, and looked at several pieces of code for both of them. Now you have an intuition how to write such neural networks, but obviously you have to practice it and try to write it by your own, just to copy the code that I was showing you in a previous notebook.